Well, good Saturday morning, friends. Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Joe Booth, as well as Joe Bear in the house. And as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Booth Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. So let's get over to this here and let's wake up the football gods here on this Saturday morning. That's right, it's Saturday morning. Tomorrow, this time tomorrow, I'll be running around like a chicken, my head cut off, getting ready for game day. We have a 1 o'clock kickoff. I kind of prefer the 4 o'clock kickoffs. For some reason, we don't seem like we play as well at 1 o'clock. Is that my imagination? It seems like the 4 o'clock slots, the prime time events, the Cowboys seem to play better than those 1 o'clocks. You know, I'm trying to get up, get all the food ready, and get everything set up and stuff and set. And here it is, boom, it's 1 o'clock, it's already kickoff. It just doesn't seem right. So tomorrow we have the Atlanta Falcons, who ended up beating the New Orleans Saints. And the thing about the New Orleans Saints is I'm trying to understand, what are the New Orleans Saints? Are the New Orleans Saints a good team or a bad team? They slaughtered the Green Bay Packers week 1. They ended up beating Tampa Bay 2 weeks ago, and then they lose at home to Atlanta. They ended up getting their, after beating Green Bay, they got their tails kicked by Carolina and Sam Darnold. So I just don't know what that team is. The Atlanta Falcons, they've got a lot of injuries, just like us. They're playing better than what people thought that they would, getting the big win against the Saints. If the playoffs were to start today, the Saints would actually be the 7th seed. They'd be in the wild card, which is kind of surprising. I think if you looked at the preseason forecast, the last team they would have said had any chance at the playoffs would be the Atlanta Falcons. And this game is big because, we've got Dan Quinn, who has truly turned over this defense. And even though they've been taking hit after hit on players, it doesn't seem to matter that they still seem to keep showing up and playing so much better than last year. You've got to feel like, for him, this is a big game to get his dogs and stuff together to show Atlanta what they missed out on. This has got to be a big game for Keanu O'Neal, who basically, while he was rehabbing, was told, pack your stuff and leave. We don't want you here. We're not signing you. So you've got those revenge parts in there, and you may end up having Atlanta, of course, having given up the big lead, which they did all last year many, many times, to the Cowboys, and losing with the watermelon kick. Maybe there's incentive for them to win. But I know this much, the Dallas Cowboys need to get this victory to get back on track, to get this season back and going. The thing that's kind of interesting is, it used to be the Dallas Cowboys were the drama team, that you would always find tons and tons of stuff. I believe TMZ Sports made it on the back of the Dallas Cowboys with all the stuff with Zeke Elliott and Tyrone Crawford and the bar and things. But the things that used to happen with the Dallas Cowboys don't anymore. The drama-filled players, the divas, we don't have. We don't have the TOs in the locker rooms or the dominant personalities of the Des Bryants. This team is actually boring. And I think back to Hard Knocks. We all liked Hard Knocks because it was our Cowboys on it. But let's be really honest here. In comparison to past years, it was kind of boring for the Dallas Cowboys. There was no drama whatsoever. You know how long it's been since TMZ's been able to go dun dun dun, with something crazy about Zeke or Dak or anything? Nothing. And as I sit here and I go through YouTube looking at the headlines from Get Up or First Things First and, Undisputed and all that, it used to be every headline was a Cowboy situation. Dak Prescott's contract, Dak Prescott, dink and dunker, Dak, garbage time Dak. It was, Zeke Elliott, overpaid. Jason Garrett, dumb coach. The Cowboys, the accident, you would see all of these different programs that were all the Dallas Cowboys. But I think slowly what's happened is it's kind of, Cowboys. Well, they're winning. They're doing pretty good. There's no drama. There's no tension in the locker room. There's nobody trashing the coach or headlines of the defense is too complex or check the film. This team is no drama whatsoever, i.e., kind of boring. And maybe that's a good thing because the focus is winning football. Even Jerry Jones, Jerry.
I think that's a part of leadership is to have some of the guys that have gone before that have been disappointed to share it with everybody involved. For me, it's a reminder. I, too, have been here 23 years. And it is a reminder. I've been here when it was glory hole days, and I've been here when it wasn't. And so having said that, I want me some glory hole.
We haven't even gotten a good quote from Jerry
Jones.
When was the last time we got a crazy quote from Jerry Jones? Like Los Angeles, or I ain't got time for a bad time, or the man that knows his anatomy and gets in a car wreck and chops his hand off knows to put a tourniquet on it. The man that doesn't runs off in the woods and bleeds to death. What? We got none of that. We got none of that. The only thing we get now is, Tyron Smith. Is Tyron Smith not playing? How's that going to affect? Will the Cowboys be able to get there and stuff? And even guys that were against the Cowboys seem to be now kind of on their bandwagon. So let's go to Get Up. And like I said, I had to look hard this morning to find very many things about the Cowboys and stuff. But this is their forecast of the Cowboys versus
Aaron Rodgers comes out hot.
All right, Mr. Mea Culpa, back to you. More or less, Dak Prescott, 2.5 touchdowns versus the Falcons.
I'm going to go, this is a tough one. I'm going to go less, right? I'm going to keep it right at 2 because I think they're going to have to run this ball because Matty Ice was on fire last week. And listen, he went against a much tougher defense than he's going to face from the Dallas Cowboys. I think we got a little truth serum about the Dallas Cowboys defense last week. And they don't want Matty Ice to go out and be able to do what he got to do. So to protect him, they're going to keep that time of possession down. Going to keep Dak Prescott under 2.5 TDs. What is 2.5? 2.5. What's that, like 2 and impossible? Yeah. Like a drop in end zone? Like, what
3 or 2. It's 3 or 2.
Okay.
There you go.
Well, what the hell is 2.5? I don't get it, man. It's just gadget stuff.
Well, speaking of Dak Prescott, he and the Cowboys struggled mightily versus Denver last week. Mike McCarthy talked about how his team will respond this Sunday. Take a listen.
This whole league's about responding, whether it's in game, the next game, the next series. So this is just another variation of it. So you have to respond, and everything that we did not do to our standard on Sunday are things that we have done in the prior 6 games. So we just got to clean it up.
Okay, just got to clean it up. That's the deal. All right, so Jeremy Fowler with us now, joining Barton Lewis. Jeremy, what's the latest? What's your sense that you're getting from around the league about the Cowboys' blowout loss last week?
Yeah, right. I just texted with some people around the league. Largely not a major concern. People think Dallas is a contender, the real deal. Probably just fell flat against a Denver team they didn't respect enough. Denver's actually pretty good. It has a good roster. But 2 concerns I heard. Dak's calf. Was that an issue? Could that linger a little bit on him throwing the ball? And then the defense. They're seeing a little bit of slippage in the rankings that other teams are noticing. 18th in the league in points allowed, 21st in yards allowed. So they're much improved from last year. But last year that thing snowballed on them where they couldn't stop anybody. Could they prevent some sort of issues late in the season?
And then one of the most important weapons on offense is Tyron Smith. What's the latest on his health?
So he is day-to-day right now, I'm told. Bone spurs in the ankle. So it's really a pain threshold issue. Can he play through it? Cowboys will take it easy with him this week. Could be some limited practice. Probably will work on his own independently while the team practices, at least early in the week. But they need him in a big way. That showed last week against Denver. The configuration of the line was a little bit messy.
Bart, I'll start with you on these Cowboys because we really thought this was a contender. A lot of people still think they are. But what did the Cowboys' loss to Denver say to you about this team?
Talked about the physicality, right? It shows that they most teams are built like this, right? They need to lean on their offense, make an offense one-dimensional. And I know we were talking about Diggs and how great he was, but when I looked at Diggs, I saw a player that reminded me a lot of this player called Delta O'Neal back in the day. He'll give you 10 interceptions, but he's going to give up a lot of bombs because he's not disciplined. So now you see teams taking advantage of his aggressiveness with these double moves, and he's falling for it, and he's not making the plays that he's made. The same thing make you laugh, make you cry. He was making these plays, and the ball was finding them, but now opponents are able to make plays on him, and now they're not tough up the middle, and they showed that, listen, they can be beat up. And I think that this could be an upset alert type of game. I mean, you talk about Matty Ice and how well they're playing. Yeah. Cordell Patterson, to me, is a all-pro this year. I don't know why it took 8 years in the year to unlock him. Yeah. But this guy is the Swiss Army knife. You talk about what he's able to do in the backfield. He's a matchup nightmare. This is a bad matchup. They better not think, okay, Parsons, we're going to put him in the backfield. They can do whatever they want, get whatever matchup they want. They're doing this without Calvin Ridley. This is an upset alert.
Patterson just proves you sometimes you just got to find the right situation. That's key. But, Lewis, let's talk about Dallas' situation. What do they need to take away from last week into this matchup against the Falcons on Sunday?
That they better wake the fuck up.
I think, number one, if you want to start on the defensive side, that's where we all should start anyway. Because really, this game is going to come down to that for them because Atlanta's going to put the ball up. They're going to put it through the air. They're going to put it on Matt Ryan's shoulders because they haven't really been running the football well at this point in the season, almost at the halfway point. So they're going to put the ball in the air. Dallas needs to rush the passer and make sure Matt Ryan has to move and can't just sit in the pocket and fire the football and survey the entire field, number one. And then, two, they got to start eliminating the explosives and not allow this team to hit them over the top and hit them for plus 20, plus 25, plus 15, plus 20, plus 25 to where you're staying out of third down, and then you have your full complement of plays that you can go to. If it's always first and second down for Dallas and they can't really get the third down, they're going to be in trouble. So I think that's first and foremost what they need to do. Offensively, look, when we saw them earlier in the year in Monday Night Football, I remember sitting there talking to Kellen Moore and talking to Dak Prescott and saying, you really are the type of team that no matter what a defense does to you, you have an answer for because you can run the football effectively with power or finesse with two running backs, and Dak is playing in great rhythm. They're not playing in great rhythm right now. Dak needs to get back into that rhythm. How healthy is he? How confident is he in his lower body right now? They need to get back on track with that being that type of multiple offense that has an answer for whatever you try to do to them. Because if they don't, this isn't a team that can be carried by their defense. It never was. It was carried by the offense. So I think this is going to be a serious test, and I'm with Bart. This could be, and with Jeremy, this could be an upset alert type of game here for sure. So Dallas better be on it. They lose to Atlanta? Oh, boy. First of all, I want to see what Stephen A. Smith would have to say. And for the rest of us, it would be material for a whole week for sure.
Oh.
Yeah, it would be material for a whole week for sure. In other words, we need some drama from the Dallas Cowboys because things are kind of boring. So, interesting thing that they said, this is where there's perception and then there's reality. Okay, we had one game that we were terrible. Let's be clear. We had one game. Dak came back from injury. We had Tyron Smith out. We brought in Lyle Collins. We put Terrence Steele on the left side for the first time he's played on the left side. We had a lot of different moving parts. And it was just one of those days that you just woke up and it was just going to be a bad day. It was just like a Monday. You know, back in my day growing up, they say never buy a car that was made on Monday or Friday because people were either on Monday just not quite there, and Friday they're thinking about getting the hell out of there. So mistakes on the vehicles were being made on those days. Now, of course, it's automated. It doesn't really matter because it's really machines that are all making the stuff. But you understand my point. Some days you just can't get shit done. And I know you've had some days where you go into the office or you go into your job or I go into the workshop and I'm painting stuff and I just can't seem to do it. That was just the perfect storm, I think, last week. Now, if it ends up being a trend, I don't know that one game is a trend like they're saying that Dallas is off. Because I look at what they were doing with the Minnesota Vikings, it seemed like they shut down Minnesota's running game. It seems like they leaned on that pretty good, and they took care of business on scoring the football. So I'm not sure exactly what they're seeing that I'm not. And as I look here, and this is where, make no mistake about it, anybody can beat you in the NFL, okay? We learned that with the Miami Dolphins versus Baltimore this weekend. We learned that with the Jags versus the Bills. All teams end up having these clunker games. But as we look through, here, this should be a get-right game. Without Calvin Ridley on the offense, they don't have a great running attack. Let's look at where they are offensively. They're 21st in points, 20th in yards. On defense, they're 28th in points, 17th in yards. They're not a great team. What they've had, as we go down here, they lost to Philadelphia. Okay, look at this. They lost to Philadelphia. They lost to Tampa Bay. They did beat the Giants. They lost to Washington. So as you start to look at this, just think about that for a second. Two of their four losses have been against Washington and the Eagles. One of their wins is against the Giants. Another of their wins against the Jets. Another of their wins against the Miami Dolphins. So, and they lost to Carolina. So I'm not ready to say that Atlanta is a great team, that they're surging. They did get the big win against the Carolina Panthers, okay? But it's just not. But we'll see. It's the NFL, and anybody can beat you on any given Sunday. And with that being said, I need to go shopping because we're going south on our menu tomorrow. We're going to have, of course, Joe Boot Wings, which is fried chicken. We're going to have catfish fried, of course, because that's what you get. We're going to have collard greens and macaroni and cheese and potato salad. Woo! I think I just gained a pound already. And shout out to all of you channel members that have already gone through and created your profile on our website. You guys are the real MVPs. I'm going to go through each one of your profiles and send you a message and respond to them as soon as I have a moment. But in the meantime, I got to get rolling. You know how we roll. Our folks here, and as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report.
You did one hell of a job, and the only thing else I got to say is